Hi guys, and welcome to the Mega Manifesto course. This is going to be so much fun for me because it really hits home. It's something that has been my journey for quite a while now. People who know me know that I've been on my own mega manifesting path for a little while now. And this course is not only going to feature my own hidden secrets that got me to where I wanted to be, but also we have a special guest on this program, and it is Matthew David Hurtado, who is a self-made millionaire. He owns a supplement company, and he's, like me, mega manifesting. And so we really want to share our secrets, share what we know, share our journey, and in the hopes that you can mega manifest too, which we have no doubt that you will. So I want to share with you a little bit of my journey first before I get into some of the tips and tools that I've used to get to where I wanted to be in life. And that's really the essence of the journey, is that we want to manifest or create all that we desire. And how do we do that? Well, let's rewind a little bit. So I want to tell you a little bit about my personal story. I started out in the east coast of Canada, very, very small town. It was more trees than people. Definitely one of those communities where they weren't as spiritually open as I would have preferred them to be. However, and we have a puppy in the picture, which is great. uh, yeah, so this was a manifestation as well. I have two puppies. So, back to my story. So, a small town, East Coast Canada, I really was dissatisfied with working the corporate scene. I had excelled in it. I definitely was in the corporate banking, HR, doing a fabulous job, or so I thought, but not enjoying it. And I really longed for something else. So what had happened to me is that I had what I like to refer to as a spiritual crisis. I really hit rock bottom with what I wanted to do, and I really didn't know myself anymore. I had lost the way. I had lost my own inner sense of self-worth, my being. It really was not there anymore. I was like an empty shell. And so I really needed to make the change, but I took a drastic route. I know a lot of people may say, this is too crazy for me, but I sold everything. I sold my house, I sold most of my personal possessions, and I set out across Canada to find who I was and what I wanted to do. And so I ended up stopping in Calgary because I had a friend there. And literally within 2 weeks of being there, and mind you, I took all my websites down, took everything down. I had nothing. I was nothing and no one. And within 2 weeks, CTV calls me. And CTV is, for you Americans who are listening to this program, CTV is like Fox. It is a national media chain in every province, in every city in Canada. They called me out of the blue and said, "We'd like to have you on the program." And and there are those ears again. Pablo, sit down. Sit down. And so I came on as a guest, and the rest is history. They had me on again and again, and I was booked on other media networks like Breakfast Television, you name it. I was on that program. It was a snowball effect, a complete snowball effect. And And the reason why it was a snowball effect for me, why things just seemed to fall into place and were very synchronistic, is because I was following what I felt that I wanted and needed, not what I thought that I needed. And so it was a very different ballgame for me because I always wanted to know 10 steps ahead of me. I was a very mental-based person. I always wanted to have that plan, that master plan that said, I'm safe and I have this laid out and this is how it's going to be and everything's okay. And so the moment that I let that go and I went with how I felt, that's when the magic started. And I have really done a 180 shift in terms of how I live and how I function. And I really don't go with my mental faculties anymore. I go with how it feels first. Mental is secondary for me. And so when I have a big decision to make or something in my stratosphere that I need to decide upon, I go to my inner feelings, my being, or whatever you want to call it, my spirit, my soul, and I say, what is it I should do? Does this feel right? And always go by feeling, always. Society says that feelings are unreliable. They are absolutely not unreliable. They are actually our built-in navigation system. They are so incredibly reliable that they're never wrong. Think back to a time when you made a decision that you regretted. Was it something that you felt or something that you thought? Most people would say, in that moment I felt, but I should have done this, but I didn't. And so it's always about feeling. It's never about thought. It's always about the feeling in the moment. And so that's exactly what you need to be relying upon. That is your navigation system. It is never going to fail you. It is never wrong. And I can fully attest to that I feel like sometimes I have a horse show at my butt because I'm so lucky per se, and I put lucky in quotes because it's not luck. It is figuring out how to navigate a soulful being in a physical body. Really, that is the essence. And I know that sounds new agey, but it really is the truth. I mean, we really are energy. We are a soul in energetic form. And the feeling realm is also energy. And so matter is really not what we think it is. And matter is actually frozen light particles or slowed down energy. And so we can manipulate the physical by what we want to create. And how we do that, we imagine it. We think it, we feel it, and we do it. And I think that's one of the steps that people miss in general is the thinking, feeling, doing. We have to put the feeling behind whatever it is that we want to do because that's like the nitro, the energy behind it, the essence. And it's pivotal. It's totally pivotal. If anyone's not putting the energy into it from their emotional realm, then they're missing the whole point. So I'd like to get into a couple of my main topics, and this is just a little teaser, a tidbit of how I've manifested all that I have manifested thus far. And many people ask me all the time, especially my East Coast friends and family and people like that, they'll ask me, Michelle, how did you do it? Can you please throw a dog a bone and tell us how you did it? And I'll tell you, I'm no different than you. I'm absolutely no different than you. I don't think I'm better than you. I don't think, there are a lot of holier than thou spiritual people out there that think that, they have some sort of secret or some sort of gimmick that's going to get them to where they need to be. But really, I'm no different than you. And you can do this too. Just like Jesus said, all this you can do and more. And it's so true. I'm not religious, but I definitely think that Jesus had it right when he said that in the biblical scriptures. All right, so really, if you think about it, if you don't want something in your stratosphere, what do you need to do about that? Don't believe it affects you. I had a friend who said, the recession never affects me, Michelle. And I sat with that for a minute and I thought, the recession never affects him. However, he's in the middle of a recession. How is that possible that it's not affecting him? Because he doesn't believe it to be so. He doesn't believe that that is a part of his energy, a part of his stratosphere. And that is one of the things that I firmly hold true to, is that if I don't want something or someone or some place in my stratosphere, I believe that it doesn't belong there. And therefore, I believe that it doesn't affect me. And I love the fact that I'm a 3 because it really does help me being the number of imagination. So I'm able to use that imagination in my manifesting capabilities. That doesn't mean if you're not a 3, you can't do that. Absolutely not. But I do have a childlike view sometimes where I believe anything is possible. And I'm the forever optimist, I guess you could say. The second thing is that I really can't stress enough that you are like me and you can do whatever it is that I've done and then some. You could surpass me any day. There's nothing special about what I've done. It really is just a process. And the second step that I've really focused on is that people get lost in the shuffle. They get lost in the mundane and then their dream. So here they are in their corporate job, the job that they hate, the things that they don't want to do, and here's their dream way over here. So how do they bridge the gap? How do they get from point A to point B without having to jump through a zillion hoops? Well, you put one foot in front of the other. And most people say, how do I take that plunge? How do I do what you did and move from, the East Coast of Canada, and now you're living in Los Angeles, living your dream every day, being the entrepreneur, doing what you love? You can do it too. You can absolutely do it. It's one foot in front of the other. I don't expect you to drop your corporate job and move to Los Angeles tomorrow, and that's not what I did either. So you have to build your empire, and I always say that. I use those terms, is build your empire, and take step by step by step. Take small bites. If you can't quit your day job right now, if you can't let go of this job completely because it's sustaining you, then great. Doesn't mean you can't take any steps forward to what you want to do. And that's the key. And you will find once you step into it, once you do that, you're going to see synchronicity happen at a more rapid pace. It's going to come quicker. People are going to show up in your life. Things are going to show up in your life. Places are going to manifest where you need to go and travel. All kinds of fun things are going to show up in your stratosphere once you start to get the ball rolling. And it's like the snowball rolling down the hill. You really need to get the momentum going by taking a step, because it's all about choice. It's all about making the decision, taking a chance. If you're always on the fence and you never make a move, then yes, you're never going to fail. That's great. But you're never going to progress. You're never going to make any changes. You're never going to get any closer to what you truly want to do. And now is such a pivotal time in the world where people are doing what they love. And no longer is it that we need to follow in our parents' footsteps and be the doctor or the lawyer. And my dad was a lawyer, so I have to be a lawyer. My dad was a dentist, so I have to be a dentist. No, you don't. You have the sky's the limit in terms of what you want to be. And now it's even more fun because there are hybrid energies coming in. I call them hybrid because it's merging things like life coaching, Reiki, and making your own modality, making your own pathway, taking things that already exist, but adding your own spin, adding your own tweak to that. And that leads me into my most favorite thing, which I had already briefly spoken about earlier, is that anything is possible. Believe anything is possible, because it is. Let me tell you from experience, anything is possible. Don't discount something because you think it's too far-fetched. It is not. The universe will conspire to give you what you need to create that. All you need to do is plant the seed. That's it. Anything is possible. And I'm living testimony to that statement, is that anything is possible. And I firmly believe that. I absolutely, without a doubt, unequivocally believe anything is possible. And I'm the most practical person you'll ever meet. I'm very practical in terms of my spirituality. It's always about show me. And so I always call it practical spirituality, because I'm really not a new ager. I'm more about the combining the practicalities with the spirituality. And lastly, I want to get into this point, and this will sum up the first part 1 of this series, is nix negative people, places, and things. That is so crucial, so pivotal. Because if you're surrounding yourself with negative people who say, well, I don't know, it's really not possible, I don't really see it happening, how is that so, how can you do that? They're always questioning you. And then you are infiltrated with doubt. And doubt has no place in this process of mega manifesting. You have to be doubtless. And so surrounding yourself with other people, like-minded people who believe anything is possible, that this doesn't affect me because I don't want it to affect me, putting one foot in front of the other, always making progress, always doing something to get yourself one step forward, whether it be a small little tidbit or a big leap. It doesn't matter. You just need to do the steps. So really, it's finding that place, finding those people, finding that group of souls that are going to facilitate this process for you. That is definitely key. And I've found that time and again is that when I'm around negative people who don't believe the same thing that I do, I don't feel uplifted, I don't feel inspired, and I have less motivation to take those steps forward. And so this concludes part 1 of the series, and there will be 2 other parts to this program, but I love it, and I think that you're going to gain a lot from it, and I think that Matthew and I are going to teach you a lot in terms of mega manifesting. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you in part 2.